there are three universal principles. They're not hard to know, and they're not hard to go ahead and put into action. But in dentistry, they're invariably violated. The first is keep it simple. If you go ahead and make any process more complicated than it needs to be, what you wind up finding is you just make it too difficult for new staff to learn and too slow for experienced staff to use. And so simplifying these processes becomes incredibly important. And the investment in time to go ahead and make that happen pays off for the lifetime of the practice. So studying this and getting good at figuring out how to make life simpler for all your coworkers will pay off in immeasurable ways. The second principle is that you can't use what you can't reach. It's a simple concept. It's geometry. But I can't tell you how many dentists, the majority of dentists, violate this principle in their quest to create a treatment room. You get paid to work in the mouth. As many of the things that you need to work in the mouth as you can should be near the mouth. If they're somewhere else, then by definition they're in a warehouse. And no one pays you to go ahead and warehouse things. Warehouses are built because they can't figure out a way to have the supplies where they need to be in any manufacturing situation. Warehouses are not good, they're bad. And so we need to minimize those. No one pays you to go ahead and be doing administrative things in a treatment area. You need some administrative space, but not for treatment. It's for treatment planning and consultation. So you can put things behind the patient, but they're hard to reach. You can put them in front of the patient, but you can't get enough of them there. And for folks that are apprehensive, they don't love seeing them. And then you can put them where we refer to it as over the head. All of this allows us to eliminate the storage aspect of the room and deliver on-time performance. The principle's simple. You can't use what you can't reach. The third principle is that the customer is king. None of this amounts to anything if the customer doesn't say yes to treatment. So in addition to a simple system that allows you to go ahead and produce and grow and hire new people and have them come in and be able to be productive from the beginning, and the concept that geometry matters and that you're not going to be very efficient if you put things where you can't use them. If you don't make this so emotionally acceptable to the buyer, then the buyer has the opportunity to say no to your recommendations. And each and every day, we see offices that do everything in their power to encourage the customer to not buy. It's astounding how we see this, and somehow we as dentists lose sight of that reality. This is what you'd like a treatment room to feel like. If you're a patient, especially a highly apprehensive patient, you want to go ahead and not be confronted by the scary things that we're used to. We've become used to utilizing instruments that create fear in 50% of the population. We don't have to do that. And lighting matters too. If you think about the typical treatment room with 3 or 4 fluorescent downlights shining straight in the eyes of the patient, remember the patient looking straight up at the ceiling, that creates an interrogation-like aspect to receiving dental care. Would you like to have dentistry done? Actually, no, I feel like I'm being interrogated. So there are techniques to go ahead and create great lighting quality and eliminate that interrogation feel. But there's a conflict potentially between you can't use what you can't reach and the customer's king. This is an image from one of the major manufacturers. You may recognize this equipment. First of all, I don't know how you reach those suction utilities and actually put them into use during treatment. Second, if you take a look at the patient, I think we violated the customer as king. Again, this is the advertising photo, and the patient is totally fearful. The next aspect of creating a phenomenal practice, beyond the thinking of creating a phenomenal design or physical office, is how lean affects what you do moving forward.